Let's play a game. You have 10 seconds to identify as many faces from this upcoming image. Ready, set, go. Time's up! How many faces did you recognize in the image? You may have only identified 1, 5, or even none of the 13 faces in the picture, but that does not mean you have bad eyes. In fact, the game you just played was a test for your brain and not your eyes. Although your eyes were seeing the image, your brain was the one perceiving the faces in the natural scene. But how does the brain identify a face? Well, the brain is the most complex organ in the body, consisting of a network of around 100 billion neurons that share information by sending and receiving electrical signals. Neuroscientists have made it easier to study the brain by splitting the organ into 2 cerebral hemispheres and 4 main lobes, which are then each subdivided into functionality-specific regions. Back to our original question. I will answer it with a demonstration. Let's say you're in the middle of New York City's Times Square, surrounded by a crowd of more than 100 people. Among this crowd, you look out and see a seemingly familiar face. As your eyes start focusing, your brain begins perceiving. Your facial perception starts in the occipital lobe, where your visual cortex recognizes a certain object standing out from all the other visuals coming from your eyes. From here, neurons fire the object's visual information as electrical signals along the ventral stream. At the fusiform gyrus, the object is recognized as a human face based on certain distinct features, such as the shape, the eyes, and the mouth. This is why you may have only identified a few faces from the game, because not all the features caught your eye, or shall I say, caught your brain. But this is not where the journey ends. A very specialized region called the fusiform face area, or FFA, further analyzes the intricate details on the face, including the hairstyle and the distance between the eyes. With this information, the FFA communicates with the memory regions of the temporal lobe, and the brain successfully identifies the individual in the crowd as none other than famed theoretical physicist Albert Einstein. Unfortunately, not everyone is able to recognize this face of Dr. Einstein. Individuals with damage to their FFA suffer from a disorder called prosopagnosia, which causes distorted perceptions of faces. In fact, research at Stanford University has proven that if the fusiform face area is stimulated with irregular electrical pulses from external electrodes, then a normal person will also perceive a quote, metamorphosed facial appearance. Such studies help us better understand our brains and can hopefully establish a foundation for treating people with neurological disorders in the future. Now, for a final test. Use your brain power and decide, is this me or is this me? Comment below and thank you for watching.